Welcome to another episode of More Than Books, Stories from the Kanawha County Public Library. I'm your host, Stan Howe. On this program, we take a look beyond the shelves to highlight news, activities, events, and the resources available for KCPL patrons. For the past 116 years, KCPL's main branch in Charleston has served the people of Kanawha County. Over the years, it had a number of homes around Charleston before settling into the old Capitol Annex building on Lee Street. It was there for 40 years before moving into its current building in 1967. And that building underwent a $32 million renovation just 3 years ago. Along with the location changes over the years, KCPL has obviously seen changes to services, technology, and of course, people. One of those new people at KCPL is the new head of Circulation Services, Julianne Iacovoni. Circulation Services is the bread and butter of any library, and it's an important job at KCPL as well. When we come back, our traveling correspondent, Jai Ravine, sits down with Julianne to learn a bit about her and her new job.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
All right, welcome Julianne. Thanks so much for being here today and hanging out with me and talking all things circulation. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I would prefer that the weather not be so incredibly cold.
Definitely.
But, you know, I came to a place that has books and coffee.
Indeed.
And I feel like any place that has books and coffee is a good place to be, right?
Exactly, yeah. We're also in the lovely reading room, which is on the 4th floor of the main library. And anyone with a library card can reserve this room, which has lovely views of downtown.
It has great views.
It's a nice place to study and do some work if you want, so yeah.
It feels very peaceful.
Yeah,
and just
totally.
Very off
You're
of
like,
the library.
You're like in an eagle eyrie. Like
So
nesting up high a little bit.
I like it because it feels like you're kind of hanging off of the library. And I, despite our friends here, I do like heights.
Okay.
So
you want to be up high. Yeah.
So I want to be up high where I can see the views.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me about what your role is and how long you've been here at KCPL.
Okay, well, my role is the new Circulation Services Supervisor. And I have been here a little bit over 3 months.
All right, yeah. So it's kind of in the new phase. Have you worked with libraries before, or like what other types of work have you done before here?
So I was in another library in another county for a short amount of time doing different outreach and development activities.
Gotcha.
But before that, you can definitely tell that I have an ADHD diagnosis by my resume. It is a variety of things from event planning, city government, to nonprofit work.
Yeah.
It's just kind of all different things that I like to do.
Totally, yeah.
You
got a lot of skills.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever framed it in that way. It's more of like, hey, I like to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm capable of doing this. So let me do it for work.
Totally, yeah.
And I don't know why I've never, until recently in my life, considered working for libraries.
Right.
I love books. I love to read, and I've traveled to different libraries in different states and countries.
Awesome.
I love the spaces, but it had never occurred to me, hey, maybe this is the right type of work for you.
Yeah, totally. So we're happy to have you here.
Well,
Yay.
thank you so much.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here.
How's the process been adjusting to your new team, the circulation staff here at Maine?
I think we started off slow
Yeah.
and very professional. And I think once we all got comfortable being ourselves and sharing who we are, things got very smooth and People are very open and honest about what they want for their positions and the library and just kind of the work that we do.
Awesome.
And I really appreciate that.
Yay. Let's talk about how amazing the staff is here. What are some things that you enjoy about them that stand out to you as you're getting to know them?
So first of all, the circulation staff is very diverse.
Yeah.
They have a lot of different skills, a lot of different talents. And I think when you are able to expand on those and use those in your work, you're not only happier and healthier, but I also think that the library is going to benefit from that as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can provide them with more opportunities to be who they are and share that with the community.
Awesome. Yay. That's beautiful.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah. All right. What are, I'm just thinking about like the year ahead. What are some values or things that you're thinking about in terms of library service as we go into this year ahead?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think definitely compassion and empathy are really important, especially when working with the community.
Yeah.
And I think this team already does that really well. But I think that we can expand on that and get more specific about what each individual who comes in the library needs and how we can help meet those needs.
Right.
I think courage is another great value that I'd like to focus on.
Totally.
Because I think my staff really wants the resources to help individuals and help people.
Right.
And so we want to get them what they need, and we definitely want them to be brave enough to share that with whoever may come in the library.
Right.
They really do love books.
Yeah.
The staff really cares about the books.
Yeah.
And I, that's my preferred reading method is with just to sit down with a hard, cover book.
Right.
And they really love the books, but they also really love the people.
Yeah.
And so, having access to information in multiple ways and having them be able to provide that for people with the books.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think is going to be great.
Right. And just like how to maintain that thing of like meeting the patron where they're at,
Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
What their day's been like,
Yeah.
what their mood is.
Right.
They do a really great job of factoring in different things with different people. Like, well, I don't know, maybe they had a bad day or, maybe they needed something else in that moment.
Yeah.
And I think they do a really great job about stepping back and considering how we can help people the next time they come in.
Right. And that's where the compassion and empathy comes in as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
So important in the library.
Yeah. Yeah. You have actually, when you were talking about earlier, you said you had visited some libraries in other states and countries. Can you tell me about like a super exciting library that you visited that really stands out to you?
So there was one in Manchester, and I don't remember the name because you put me on the spot.
It's okay.
But it had a segment of the Dead Sea Scrolls in it.
Oh, wow.
So it was multiple floors.
Wow.
They had even made some sculpture-like things out of books.
Wow.
And it was just really, really impressive and a really positive experience in my life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yay. I was talking to you recently, and you said something like, it's important that my job matters to me. And so I wanted you to talk more a little bit about that and what that means for you.
So I feel like we have all worked, jobs to pay the bills, to feed families, and those are completely respectable things to do.
Yeah.
But I think when you are factoring in doing something where you're spending a majority of your day there, you're doing this for a majority of your life more than your waking hours at home, your waking hours with friends.
Yeah.
I just think when I went forward applying for things, there became a time where I was like, I want what I'm doing to matter.
Right.
It is really important to me to make an impact, a positive impact on my community, on those around me and those I interact with every day.
Totally.
And if I can do that in a workplace and still pay my bills,
Totally.
that's what I would prefer to do.
Right.
And so those are things that are really important to me. And I think that libraries across the country are doing amazing things to meet people's needs.
Yeah.
They're getting them books, they're getting them education, they're getting them those resources, but they're also, meeting, battling food insecurity.
Yeah.
They are, spaces for people to connect socially.
Yeah.
They are places for people to sit and listen to one another.
Yeah.
There are a variety of different connecting events post-COVID that are happening.
Totally.
And I think those are all things that increase empathy when interacting intergenerationally and with different cultures.
Yeah.
And I think those things are so important.
Yeah.
I think what's really important in this upcoming year, especially to my staff, is that everyone focusing on how, even though those values or opinions might not be yours,
Right.
that there should still be resources that are accessible to those individuals.
Totally.
And we still focus on treating everyone the same and giving them the access to those same free resources.
Totally.
And those are really important in the library. And I think we all just want to focus on the freedom for everyone to read what they would like to read,
Right.
but also get the resources that they may want or need in that day.
Yeah.
And I think those are things that are very important to myself and the staff.
For sure. Yeah. Yay. Well, thank you so much, Julianne. I really appreciate everything you shared today.
Thank you for asking me to join you.
Yeah.
I always enjoy a good talk with you.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have more from More Than Books right after this.
A lot happens during their first 3 years. Their brain reaches 80% of its full size, and their vocabulary development can even be used to predict achievement by 3rd grade. Reading aloud is one of the most important activities that leads to literacy acquisition and benefits even the youngest listeners. Our goal is to allow every child 5 and under in West Virginia the opportunity to participate in Dolly Parton's Imagination Library program. The Imagination Library provides every child 1 new book a month, allowing them to start positive reading habits early. We need your help. Individuals, groups, and organizations can sponsor a child for just $25 a year or $125 for the full 5 years. To make a donation that will provide books for West Virginia children or learn more about the Imagination Library program in West Virginia, visit our website.
Thank you for the book.
Every child is curious.
George, look what I found.
Turn their curiosity into a lifelong love of learning. Create a curious reader.
This is super bedtime reading.
Share a book together today. Visit read.gov.
All right, welcome back to More Than Books. My name is Jai. I'm here with Bianca Prince, the lovely Idea Lab librarian. We're here in the glorious Idea Lab here on the first floor of the main library. And you are the queen of all things Idea Lab and run the show down here.
I do my best to, at least.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for having me on here.
Awesome. So, the Idea Lab, can you just tell us what is it? And then we can go through maybe some of the equipment and things like that, and then how people can reserve stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the Idea Lab, it stands for Innovation, Design, Engineering, and Art, and we are basically a makerspace, a high-tech facility here at the main branch where you can use equipment that maybe you can't afford or that you don't have room for in your home.
Totally.
So we have a little bit of everything. We have multiple 3D printers, 3D pens. We have laser etchers and cutters, vinyl cutters, vocal booths, VHS to DVD conversion, photo scanners, a laminator, button makers.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of everything in here to try and suit the needs of the community.
Totally.
Yep.
And all you need is a library card, and you gotta tell us about the process of if you were interested in reserving time with one of the pieces of equipment. Yeah.
So yeah, you do have to have a library card. It has to be current, and you can't have too many fines on there. But then you can come in, you can sign one of the agreement forms. It's just kind of one of those basic things stating some of our policies. And then for some of our bigger equipment, like the vocal booths and the 3D printers, you do have to have a little bit of online training. But what we try and do with that is we offer two different types. So you can go on our website and do a self-guided training that kind of links you to other resources and just gets you familiar with the basics. Or you can come to one of my programs, which we do about 2 to 3 a month usually, and those also count as training. And once you have all that, and we have it in our system, you can just reserve one of the pieces of equipment at your leisure to come in and use. And we do always have a staff member here who can help you out if you're still not super confident in your abilities.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so you talk about programs. What are some programs maybe like in the past year that you've been excited that you've offered here in the Idea Lab?
So I always love doing programs where everyone gets to take something home with them.
Right.
And I know that's always exciting for people too. So we have done, like in December, we did one where you could draw your own 3D ornament.
Oh, nice.
With our 3D pens. We had some templates out, or you could use your own creativity.
Right.
We do a lot with our Glowforge, which is our laser etcher and cutter. A lot of people making puzzles on that because it has a puzzle making feature.
Nice.
And Kimmy, who is one of the assistants in the space, she does a monthly art club for the teenagers. And one of the things she has done is she has made some relief printings on the Glowforge, and then they use that to make like their own comic books or mangas. I don't know how people pronounce that. I know how I pronounce it. Anyway, so those are some of the ones I'm really most excited about, but I think I'm really excited about what we're going to be offering in the future, honestly. We've got some new stuff coming in.
Yeah, tell us about stuff coming up.
So one of the things, and we're going to have a little demo program on it in February here, the X-Tool M1. So it is both a laser cutter and a vinyl cutter. So it's kind of like if our Glowforge and our Cricut had a baby.
Right.
But the really, really cool thing about it is it has a rotary attachment. So stainless steel tumblers, coffee cups, rings, bracelets, anything spherical, you can attach it to this thing and it will actually do the etching on that. So that is something I kind of did a little test run on it around Christmas time and made some gifts. So really excited to offer that.
Nice, nice.
We also are going to start having a coding club on the last Monday of each month using our new Fiero Code software.
Gotcha.
And the cool thing about that is you can use it here as part of our club, but it is also an online resource that you can access from home, which I think is really exciting.
Wow. Cool.
And we're going to be doing Tech Tuesdays on, I believe it is the second Tuesday of each month, where we're just going to be kind of rotating through some of our different equipment and some other like hands-on high-tech stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. So where can folks find out more about the Idea Lab and the equipment and how to reserve space and about the programs too?
Yeah. So if you just go on the kcpls.org website, there is a page for the Idea Lab itself. And it will list just about everything you need to know. We have our pricing information on there. We have our agreement form if you want to go ahead and print that out, get it filled out. Links to all of our trainings, a calendar of our programs.
Totally.
And then it also has a link to book our equipment. It's going to look a little confusing because it says it's a public meeting room. That is just how our calendar works. It makes it the easiest for you to reserve the equipment as though it is a room. But you just get on there. It has a calendar of all the times that it's available. And I always recommend making a reservation first. We do accept drop-ins, but if you make a reservation, that time slot is guaranteed to you.
Awesome. Yeah. Sweet. So if you haven't come down to the Idea Lab, you should. And say hi to Bianca.
Yes.
Come check out some of the programs. And so, like, the idea of a makerspace, I feel like, I'm not sure if, like, people are familiar with that word. Do you want to, like, maybe talk about, like, sort of, like, what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. So a makerspace is just kind of a fabrication station is one way you could look at it.
Yeah.
So it's like a hands-on place where you can make things.
Right.
And what I really like to kind of focus on is what's called the maker mindset.
Right.
So all of this stuff can be really intimidating. It is very high tech, and it's stuff that most of us didn't grow up working with.
Right.
So a maker mindset means just being willing to experiment and not being afraid to fail, because
Right.
you know, I had to train myself on most of this, if not all of this equipment in here.
Yeah.
And I failed a
Right,
lot.
yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah. But then
And
you learned. Yeah.
Exactly. Every failure teaches you something new. And like that sounds really trite, maybe like something you hear a lot, but it is the truth. The more you fail, the more you learn.
Totally.
And we've had some patrons who came in here and, you know, they really struggled at first. They had a lot of questions, but as they did that, they learned so much. And now we've had, I mean, some amazing creations come out of this space, some amazing gifts. We've had people make their own board games.
Wow.
We've had people make 3D printed dinosaurs for their social studies project. And we've even had some local artists and business people come in here to make stuff for their businesses to sell at like Art Walk.
Totally.
Which is really what I wanted when I started working in this space, is I wanted to see people really utilize it to not only learn, but to like enrich their lives.
Yeah. I feel like there's also some patrons you have that maybe already have some skills. Like I think there's someone that knows how to use the sewing machine a lot, and I think that person's like led like sewing classes.
Yes.
Is that right?
So we do have some people who, if you already have a certain skill set, I would love to work with them. We did have someone come in and do a series of Sewing 101 classes.
Nice.
And then, of course, just sometimes when patrons are in here for their own reservations, kind of working together is super beneficial.
Totally.
I know one time we had, you know, probably someone who was more, probably in their 60s, let's say. And then we had a kid in here who was maybe 8 or 9 years old.
Right.
And he's teaching her how to use the 3D printer.
Nice.
And these are two people who had never met before.
Right.
He just wanted to help and she was willing to learn. So it's also really cool to see kind of that intergenerational knowledge being shared.
Totally.
So I do love that. And again, that's also part of the maker mindset is, you know, being willing to help one another out and ask questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that so much.
Yeah. And then, of course, we take it system-wide in the summers with our Summer Library Club programming.
Totally.
So we have some really, really exciting things that we can't quite announce yet.
Top secret.
Very top secret for now, but we get a major head start on it. So a lot of stuff already in the works. I'm very, very excited about what we're going to be able to offer all throughout Kanawha County.
Cool. And you started doing programs in a box, right? Like
Yes.
Yeah. Just
So
that whole concept of what that is. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another way that we take the Idea Lab kind of on the road. So we have our 3D pins and our button makers. And also we have some bookbinding kits. We have a Cricut that we can send out, some robots.
Right.
And so the branches can request this information, or not this information, they can request the equipment and information. We send it out to them so that they can do programs at their branches.
Yeah.
For example, we had Dunbar back in December do some bookbinding programs, and the Sphero robots go out a lot.
Yeah.
They're usually at a branch every month.
Right. Ooh, explain what those are. Those are fun.
Oh, yeah. So I might be dating myself a little here, but if you have ever seen the movie Twister, the original, not the newest one, and you've seen those little like robots that go up in the tornado from Dorothy, they look a lot like that.
Gotcha.
And they're just these little round spherical robots that connect to iPads.
Right.
And then you can code them
Use
to do some driving, or they have an app where you can just drive them, or they have different like features where you can kick them using the iPad.
Gotcha.
So we've done some bowling with that.
Right.
We've done some robot golf. We've done robot racing.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything.
Like a zombie maze, right?
Yes, the zombie maze. I was very proud. That was one of the first programs I did with that. And I actually built a hospital myself and came up with the whole concept. So I was really, really proud of that one.
Yay. Yay. Awesome. All right. So looks like there's a bunch of exciting things in the Idea Lab that you at home need to come and experience in person. So yeah, go to kcpls.org, hit that Idea Lab page, and say hi to Bianca when you're in.
Come see me.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Bianca, for spending time out of your day to talk about all things Idea Lab.
As always, thank you for having me.
Yay. All right. Okay, we're going to have more from More Than Books right after this.
Can you consent with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite. Unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. One book could be the funniest holiday.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Before we leave, I wanted to mention a new program involving the Kanawha County Public Library system. KCPL has been selected to participate in a federal pilot program to improve digital security. The Federal Communications Commission's Schools and Libraries Cybersecurity Pilot Program is designed to help schools and libraries protect their broadband networks and data. Over the next 3 years, participants will have the opportunity to receive grants and reimbursements for cybersecurity services and equipment, including advanced firewalls, identity protection, and monitoring. KCPL is the only West Virginia library system taking part in the program, and it promises to be an important project for libraries all across the country. I'd like to thank Circulation Services Supervisor Julianne Iacovoni for talking to us about her new job in Circulation Services with correspondent Jai Ravine, and also Idea Lab librarian Bianca Prince for updating us on everything happening in the KCPL Idea Lab. I'm Stan Howe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on More Than Books, Stories from the Kanawha County Public Library.